So when the post-birth bleeding starts, a woman, she is going through the nifas period. What is the minimum period for her to be classified in that to be in the nifas period? There is no minimum. There is no minimum. All right. The moment it starts, bleeding, she is nifas. And when it stops, it stops. There is a maximum period, but there is no minimum period that you have to bleed for a day to be called. What did we say about menstruation? Maliki said the moment you bleed, you are in hayd. Yeah? Menstruation starts. Other madhahib, other than Hanafis, Shafis and Hanbalis, these two, they said 1 day, 1 night minimum period the bleeding has to continue at least a 1 day, 1 night period to be classified as menstruation. Otherwise, it's not menstruation. Hanafi said 3 days, 3 nights. So there is a minimum period for some madhahib. But as for nifas, everyone is on same page. There's no such thing as minimum period. Whatever is during birth and after it is nifas bleeding. Okay? Yes? Cool. But there is, in reality, there is not much dalil on what's the maximum period of nifas is. All right? But the Hanafis and Hanbalis, they say the maximum period is 40 days, 40 nights. If a woman continued to bleed 40 days, 40 nights after childbirth, then at the start of the 41st day, the bleeding will not be classified as nifas. All right? That would now be a tuhur period. Who said that? Which madhab said that? We said Hanafis and Hanbalis. All right? Why do they say that? They say that because there is a hadith which says in the time of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, a woman used to sit in nifas for 40 days. Okay? All of the sihah, have narrated it. But I think all the famous books of hadith have narrated this hadith, except Nisa'i. But this hadith is weak. All right? This hadith is not strong. And if it was strong, there would be no ikhtilaf. But there is a ikhtilaf, there is a difference because, but they have nothing else to work on. When you have nothing else to work on, some madhahib take what is there. So this hadith is there, it's been narrated by different chains, but all of them go through one person who is not a strong person. So it's classified as weak. Okay? So as for reason, Shafi'is, the Hanbalis and Hanafis, in their fiqh, they take 40 days as the maximum period of post-birth bleeding. Okay? The ruling which we will cover, which apply to post-birth bleeding, can only apply for 40 days in the madhab, in the view of Hanabila and Ahnaf. As for Malikis and Shafi'is, they say the maximum period is 60 days. 60 days, 60 nights. Okay? And as I said before, in the Masail of Nifas and Hayd, a lot of things are through research, asking the people around you. It's also known as istiqra in fiqh, meaning you ask the women of your area, the women of the time, you ask them what's the maximum you know. They say, the maximum we know is 60 days. Some women go up to 60 days. So they take from that. Yeah. So because the religion came to tell us, for example, I said to you about hayd. يسألونك عن المحيض. Mahid meaning hayd. يسألونك عن المحيض. They ask you about hayd. So the ayah of Quran came. So يسألونك عن المحيض means what? They ask you about hayd. So did Allah said hayd is that many days? No, it tells you the hukum of hayd. Tells you the hukum, the ruling of the hayd. It can tell you, it tells you, the religion is here to tell you the ruling of it. It does not necessarily needs to specify for you 1 day, 1 night, and then if this happened 3 days, 3 nights. Because the people, the hayd is not, the menstruation is not something which Islam brought. It was there in the world since Adam alayhi salam's time. It's been here. The people have understanding. So Islam didn't come to tell you there is a concept called hayd. Everyone knows there's a concept called hayd. Whatever is understood as hayd, if it's as much as Islam needed to tell us, it told us. Some other things are known from its people. Now, some people, while we are on the subject, all right, some people say there is no dalil for hayd minimum or maximum period. Same, there is no minimum, there is no maximum. That's also a view, which is not the view of the four madhahib we are, but some of our scholars, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and they say there is no such. I should say it's not a famous view of any madhab, but the view exists. So some people say, well, the bleeding of hayd, for example, is known by its bad smell and color, and so if it's that bleeding, as long as that continues and it is not normal blood, this is hayd. There is no minimum and maximum time. Okay, so these things are by experience. Anyway, as for nifas, we said there is no minimum period. There is something called dry birth. Okay, there is a birth which there is no bleeding with it, or rarely ever, like very, very small amount, and it doesn't continue. And sometimes it continues for a very long time. But most madhahib, most people, they say it's either 40 days maximum period, which is the Hanafi view, and the Hanbali view, and the Maliki and Shafi view is that 60 days maximum period. Once that period has passed, the woman will not be categorized as nifas anymore. Okay? Now.
Does it stop before the 40 or 60 days?
Yeah. So there is no minimum. Can be 1 day, can be 2 days, can be 3 days, can be 10 days. There is no minimum maximum. So maximum, if it continues, every human is different. Allah made all of us different, and everyone has different. Even in menstruation, women, they have a habit. Most women, they have a habit. They know my menstruation is 7 days, for example, and then I have a clean period of 21 days or 22, 23. They know. Some people, they go with just almost same cycle for years. And some people are different every month. Yeah, so, but everyone knows themselves. Same with nifas. Some women have childbirth, first child, second child, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Every time, same number of days they bleed. Post-birth bleeding, same numbers. And sometimes it's different. And sometimes it's different for every child. Some women, they bleed more than 40 days every time. Some people, they don't even bleed a week for every time. But everyone is different. But this fiqh tells us the minimum and maximum Why is it important to know? Because it affects you, your ibadat. Because during the period of menstruation and during the period of nifas, post-birth bleeding, women cannot pray salah. And she is not allowed to fast. She has to make up the fasting. She's not allowed to fast during these days, such as touching the Quran and so on.